I'm in Arizona and we don't have daylight savings time. So I logged on an hour ago and I was like, huh.
Wait, you're on here because you don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that? I never understood. Like, how do
Well,
they not have?
Arizona's backwards. First of all, they don't really farm too much out there. That's how daylight savings time started up. But go ahead, Kelly. I used to live there. I got a condo. We still
well,
have a condo in North Phoenix.
the funny thing is, before I moved here, I was living in Hawaii, and we don't
Uh,
have daylight savings time there either. So I haven't had
ah,
daylight savings time in like 7 years.
Yeah, you live in
Um,
wow.
another planet.
Yeah.
I, I, I'm a wanderer, I guess.
Yeah.
Those that
Yeah.
wander are lost. But no, it's so now I have to acclimate. So now it's 2 hours East Coast, an hour behind California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not bad.
it was crazy. They're trying to underjust. I just remember because I was an inside sales guy for a little bit for a stint, and I worked East Coast. I worked Mountain Standard Time. Arizona is just like its own little entity. Sometimes we're Mountain Standard Time, which is now, and sometimes we're Pacific. It was like, are you kidding me? Just let me go one way or the other. But when you're working different time zones, it was kind of tricky that route. But my biggest thing is, why does it take so long for Arizona to count ballots? I just did some education online and I'm like, are you kidding me? The process is so backwards. Like you
It's
could,
still going.
yeah, it's going to go probably for another 5 more days.
Jeez.
Well, where we live, it's an older community. But the funny thing is, I used to live in Florida, and I remember when that whole thing was an issue. Florida couldn't get
Yeah.
their ballots in and counted, and so
Well,
I don't know.
I read an article and they talked about why it's so slow is because the mail-in ballots, so you could drop those things off the day of the election.
Right.
So they're
Yeah.
dropping it off the day of the election, and they have an influx of so many ballots coming in. It's not like in Iowa, we get like early, we do early voting, but it's like a week before the election actually starts. So
Yeah.
last week is when we were doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they're able to count those ballots. So
Same
I
here
don't
in
know. It's kind of
Michigan.
interesting. I mean,
It's
I
because
don't
it's
know. I
so
don't get it.
everybody's brains are melted. That's what it is.
Oh,
1 second.
speaking, it looks like Tom's a ghost. You got some lighting. I love it. You're a higher being and you're right in the middle of my screen. I love it. You're on mute.
So I don't know why my hair looks like it's white. It's like I got a halo or something.
I told you, you're a higher being, man. I'm loving this.
Yeah, that's weird looking.
All
That's all
right.
right. I'm weird anyway, so don't worry about it.
All right. What happened to my? Does this background look weird on this? You guys,
No,
is it show up
you
normal?
you just need to. Yeah, no, it looks all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fine.
I just so you guys know, I got to cut at 12:40 because I got to go on another podcast here. But you guys can stay on after if you want. But yeah, Tom, let's start with you. What's going on?
With me, not a whole lot. That's why I'm here. Need some business development advice.
1 second. So, hey, when I'm
Sure.
recording, I screwed this up last time. When I'm recording, do I put this tab or the desktop? I can't remember because I screwed it up twice already. Well, let's try this. All right. All right, Tim, how about you? What's working, what's not?
Well, what's not working is getting people on the phones. I'm trying to dial more, doubling down on that. I just can't get a hold of anybody. I'm leaving more voicemails than anything. So I think my campaigns that I've been trying to utilize Loxo more and more. I've been doing more of the campaigns instead of calling, and that's probably not good. But I'm getting more reactions, sending first connections in LinkedIn. Usually like something like Canbox that handles your first set of messengers, and then using the Loxo outreach. I'm offending people on Sundays, and I'm making people happy. I'm doing both. One person said, "I can't believe you sent me 2 messages within 24 hours. If I was interesting, I'd let you know." And I'm like, my campaign is like, I sent it on Saturday and Sunday, and it's more of like a reply. And but I've had more people be more positive, saying they'll help me out, look for somebody in that role or whatever it might be, than negative. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
as Tom always says, I got an answer. It was a no. They're not looking at this time, so that's good. Rather
Yeah.
get an answer than not an answer. So that's what I've been doing a lot of. So it's a lot more time. I don't have a lot of automations yet in the process, so I'm doing a lot of manual stuff on sending first connection requests out.
Yeah, well, but here's what I would say to that. You know, where some people you get to know, you want to know, right? If you can get it. But I would say like reaching back out to look. Our job is, even if you don't have a role right now, we're going to be a true partner. So when that role opens, we understand your team, the business culture, and then we just match right at. We connect the dots. When that role opens, we're ready to go. That's what I'll tell these companies. It works a lot of time. It's like, okay, yeah, you're not paying me anything. We're just signed on. Once that role is open, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're going to do a retainer on one, but usually once the role opens, then you can. How about you, Phil?
Sorry, just on mute. Yeah, doing well, thank you. Yeah, so again, coming out, hitting business development. Last week's call, super interesting. Having Tobias on, he had some really good insights. We just spent like a month building out a brand new campaign, and basically what Tobias's advice made me unwrite half of it, rewrite it, and it was interesting. But interesting that he talks about using humanization, starting with LinkedIn rather than starting with cold email. Similar situation to Tim, having a lot of struggles getting people on the phone. So we're trialing a new video platform, SendSpark. So just as try and be a bit different between just sending a cold email and leaving voicemail. So just sending up with a personalized video, and again focusing on MSP seems to be where we're getting some traction at the moment.
Ernie, how about you?
What are we talking about? I kind of missed the
It's
question.
like anything that's working for you on the BD side right now.
Just picking up the phone and calling them. You know, it's kind of funny, just checking in on you. Just hadn't talked to you, Diana Rosen, and just wanted to say how you doing and make sure we connect and stay in touch. You know, I'm still recruiting. I want you to know that, and I want you to understand that if there's any needs, hey, to do it. The other thing too that I think the message that has to come across, and it's kind of, we always talk about how we recruit, and we're going to find you the right, help you with fill that position. But I think the reality of it is that if I build the right team for you, you're going to benefit, Dominic. And you got to have that right team in order for you to advance. So right now, if you look at your team, they may not be there. Is there somebody? Right. Is there somebody that can take your place? Because if not, I'm going to tell you how it works. And how it works is you're not going to get that next opportunity in the organization because they don't want to replace you. So they're going to go outside, get that VP, and you're not going to have that shot. So you got to have somebody underneath you because you have your 20 supervisors. You got to have somebody that's ready to go, or you got to have 2 or 3 people that are ready to move into your spot. Yeah. And you got to train them, and they got to see you as a trainer because then they'll know they'll take it up to the next level. And I don't think we preach that a lot. We preach how spot.
For me, it's always the right people in the right seats. It goes back to this book right here, EOS, traction.
What is that? What is the?
This is a journal, but it's, the book is called Traction.
Yeah, no,
it's all about putting the right people in the right seats.
But it's understanding the whole concept that I can help you help yourself by hiring the right person, and that's so. But that's I still think you gotta call them and talk to them, and everybody's sending emails, nobody's opening them up, and
I would say D all the above. D all the above, especially in this market, because they're getting hit by one of the guys I was talking to yesterday, CFO, one of the automotive companies I work with. He showed me his LinkedIn. He shared his screen. Mm-hmm. He had probably 20 people. They posted a job, even a lower level job. He had 20 something recruiters reaching out from all over the world. You know, I was looking at the messaging. I'm like, God, it's so bad. It's so easy for us when you know that the messaging that works is dialed in because they're all saying the exact same thing. You know, and it all looks like it's coming from ChatGPT or
Yeah.
But anyways,
How was your day?
yeah. Kelly, what about you?
We've been pretty busy only because we've got these long-standing relationships with clients that now have roles that they're preparing for 2025. And then additionally, the cold calling campaign, it's going decent. People that are willing to get on the call right now, it's not any of the big roles that, we really focus on. But the biggest thing, and I'll always promote this, is your brand awareness through LinkedIn. I get, just about every day, every other day, I've got somebody reaching out, wanting to schedule a call because they're looking for a recruiter that, knows their industry or what have you. So if you can continue to stay in front of people's faces over and over and over, the videos make a difference. Don't always make it about business, maybe something inspirational. I always throw in pictures of me and my fiance and share that he's in the military just because people like to see who you are versus just trying to sell
Right.
you all the time. 'Cause
Right.
people
And I
hate
bet your impressions are through the roof on those, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I put his face on my LinkedIn, that's when I get the most impressions.
Yeah. And, and just so if you're not doing video yet, but when you do it, you're not going to notice results right away. It's going to take time.
So Kelly, you're telling me to buy a uniform?
Buy a uniform and get really tall and black because that seems to be working. My fiance, if you look, he's like 6'7" and just a handsome dude. So, but you're right. And as Dominic was saying, the videos was something that I committed to going into 2024, and it's a game changer because the funny thing is the people that are reaching out to me aren't the ones that are liking or commenting on my video.
Never.
Everybody's watching. So the people are like, "Hey, I see you all the time. Great content," but they're not liking the video, which is fine. Just continue to stay in front of it. Don't get, butt hurt because nobody likes your stuff. Who cares? You just need to
Right.
let them know who you are.
I'm so glad that you said that. You're spot on. The same thing happens.
One of the things that people say is that after you do that, you'll call them up and they'll say, "Oh, hi, this is Kelly," you'll say, and they'll answer, "I know who you are." And because of videos, and that's kind of crazy. But that is the way of the future. And I was talking to somebody today and they said, "Well, I don't want to tell anyone how to do that because they'll know and they'll steal it from me." And then I end up telling them, "You know what? I'm going to tell you one thing. Everybody knows about ChatGPT, but nobody uses it. So you can tell them all you want about this. They're not gonna, know how to use it."
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just like anything with the videos, you'll start to get better. So just keep doing it. Keep sending the message. You'll be able to, blurt out videos. Keep them under 40 seconds or so. But you just need the practice and different topics and everything. So, Dominic's been doing a really good job doing these walk and talks. People watch it because they trust him.
Yeah. It's just, we can all help each other, right? Like what's working in my industry, our industry could be different from what's working in yours. So maybe two automotive guys, that's working for you guys. All right. What's working? Maybe you can implement this strategy into your space, right? How about you, Diana?
Sorry, what's the main question? I think I dialed in when the
Just anything that's working for you on the BD side right now?
Just network referrals, really. Like the actual outbound's we're not putting enough effort into it, and we're not really growing there. But I do think like the warm network and making sure that they know what I'm doing and who they can refer to me has been super helpful.
Good stuff. Zach, how about you?
Yeah, like we spoke earlier this morning, but in regards to like business at the moment, I'm kind of just focused on a lot of recruiting opposed to BD, and I think like a lot of other people here, I'm trying to get my mind back into it always being on BD. I was listening to a podcast recently where I liked the approach that one of the guys was doing, how he kind of did like a little bit of a soft sell when it came to his messaging. So he'll reach out to people on LinkedIn and just say like, "Hey, in my case, I work in the e-commerce space, so like, hey, I place like top talent e-commerce in your industry, or or something along those lines, and then say like, like happy to be a resource down the line, right? So it's not like you're not really trying to pitch them for new business, you're not trying to pitch them for a particular job, but you just say like, hey, I'm in the industry and like, I'd love to kind of be a resource for you later down the line or some point. And at least when I was listening to him on the podcast, he was explaining that like, that's obviously a conversation starter and opener. And through that, people will say, hey, oh, actually, I'm either in the market, or hey, I actually might, need to hire somebody or something like that, right? So I was thinking of maybe trying something like that, in the near future. So something I thought I'd share.
Awesome. How about you, Jennifer?
Hey there. Yeah, just implementing a whole bunch of things. And actually, I'm in a different little group with Kelly and some women. And Kelly, what you said yesterday about our colleague, breaking down just to the bare bones, because I was heavily invested in cold email, and I've just realized like it's not bringing me the right clients. I'm getting clients that are way too big. Do you know what I mean? And I'm in these like muddy water situations with like internal hiring managers and multiple recruiters. That's not where I want to be. That's not like how I'm going to be able to survive. So just have to rethink it. Like it's funny because it did work, but it didn't work the right way. So learning lessons, slap upside the head and regroup and go.
Yeah, just dial it into your ICP and target those. You know exactly if they say, yeah, you got a perfect ideal candidate. Buck, how are you?
Yep. So back to the video. I have been noticing I was like a little too hung up on likes and stuff like that. I started really paying attention to the analytics and noticing like if it gets 5 likes, it's got 300 views and 2 hours of watch time, or something like that. I mean, like it's paying more attention to the analytics and really tailoring my approach. I'm still pretty fresh in the first 4 months of having this business operational. So I'm developing a longer term strategy. Like I got a lot of the initial outreach planned, and actually last week listening to Tobias, oh my God, game changer. Downloaded Amplify, and I'm getting really good acceptance and response rates, like 40% acceptance, 20 reply, 20. It's not bad, but changing the outreach from starting with LinkedIn and then email, my open rates and click-through rates have just skyrocketed. It's
Right.
in a week's time, seeing like a complete shift. And I haven't signed anybody from that yet, but just like looking at the metrics, I can tell that it's working a lot better. But I really just have to start planning out, how do I stay in touch with people? How do I keep checking in? So developing content on that end, like just tips and tricks and like little videos about what do you do in this situation or that situation. Here's a bunch of content, like here's some interview questions, here's like some ways to stay in touch with candidates, all that stuff. So still just building that out. And if anybody wants to chat about that with me, share ideas. Brett and I exchanged some ideas yesterday that was pretty helpful. So happy to chat anytime.
Well, I meant to do it last week, but I'll create that WhatsApp group. So if everybody could put their cell in here, and I'll tell you why. So I'm in a logistics networking group. It's every 5 weeks, but I created another group outside of that just for LinkedIn growth, right? So everybody that wants, consultants and all these logistics guys, they want to build up their profile. Every time they make a post, they'll put it in here, and then everybody will go like and comment to get it in the algorithm, just get it rolling. So it just helps everybody. So I started doing that. That worked out great because I'm the only recruiter in that group. Kelly, I'm not inviting you to that one. Sorry, but
it's all good, dude. Do you?
It's great. I'm the only. Yeah, and if you can find that. Here, let me get to the last person. I'll tell you what I just did that worked for me. Hi, Andy. What's up, buddy? You out there?
Yeah. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah.
So I know
not
you
too
just
bad.
launched your company, what, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, 4 weeks ago now.
Yeah. So how's it going? What did BD say?
It's going all right. Sorry, I missed the beginning of the call, so I don't know if there was like a specific topic you wanted
Yeah,
to
that's what we're talking
discuss.
about.
Yeah, no, it's going good. I'm kind of doing Dripify, email campaigns, really just kind of putting myself out there and reintroducing myself to a lot of people that I was networked with that maybe I hired in the past, who didn't know I started my own agency. I work in the retained executive world, so I work with a lot of C-level. So just letting them know that, hey, I'm out here, pricing model is different, but the structure and the setup is the same as they went through for the interview process. And yeah, I had crazy last week at a conference in Vegas and found that, hey, being face to face with people is way better than all the digital stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one here, I'll just show you. So there's Kelly, you'll know about this, but there's a huge networking and logistics event. It's called Manifest. It's in February. On the website right now, it has all the speakers at the event, right? Like these are the chief supply chain officers at Johnson & Johnson, every major company. So what I did yesterday is I added each one of them into a LinkedIn campaign or to Loxo campaign there, and then I'm gonna throw them in Dripify and just hit them on all fronts. Like I just reached out to the guy yesterday. This is all I said. Said, hey, I see that you're speaking at Manifest. Do you know what day and time that you're speaking yet? Looking forward to listening to you. Just a different way in, right? Looking forward to listening to you speak at the event. He's like, how did you know that I was, so watch this, ready? He goes, how did you know that I was speaking at the event? I didn't tell him I found it on the manifest. I said, one of my clients, Berkshire Hathaway, is always looking for the top CEOs. So it's not wrong. I'm not lying to him. It's not wrong because there could be a role for him at one of those companies eventually. And I actually do like what he's doing. So he's right in the space in my wheelhouse, SaaS, supply chain tech. This company's doing great. He's 11 months in. That's, there's a whole list. I think there's probably 1,000 speakers. Let me see. I don't even know, but I went through every single one yesterday and just added everyone in there into a campaign. So try it out.
It's funny because on some of my other calls that they're always talking about going to these recruiter events, which don't get me wrong, I think it's great. But I think these calls suffice for having the connection that I have with other recruiters. But going to, if you have a niche, logistics, supply chain, aviation, aerospace, those are the conferences that you need to go to because you're having those conversations. So don't get me wrong, if you go to the recruiter conferences, you'll probably pick up on different things, but get out there into the community that's actually doing the hiring and, niche down. Because logistics, we both know it's a tiny industry. It's vast.
It's huge, but it's tiny.
Yeah. So
right. Everyone knows each other.
Right. And they'll know that you're the recruiter that works amongst everybody. So
yeah. Like last night I was at an event, I'm on the board of the Council of Supply Chain Management. I was at an event there and I've never met one of these guys. He's from our group, but he lives on the other side of town. I finally met him in person, military guy. He has all the defense companies. He's like, I was just with General this. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Let me get those intros. Introduce me to this guy. I'll definitely help out over there. Just reaching out to him and just providing value wherever you can. I think that always will work, no matter what. But I think just whatever industry you're in, find out what conferences are going on. Go on the list, look at who's attending, who are any of the speakers, reach out to them, put them in a campaign. Say, I'll look forward to listening to you at the event or checking in on you, whatever it may be. But that worked for me, and I got engagement immediately by saying that. So I didn't reach out saying, hey, can I recruit for you? I have this role open. I said, hey, I see that you're speaking at Manifest in Vegas. You know what day and times you're going to be speaking? I'd love to listen in. And then bam, he replies, and now we're engaged, and now we're talking.
That's great. Hey, Dominic, I'm curious, with that outreach campaign you did, how many stages and what's the sequence?
Well, I didn't set that up yet. I just put them in there because I'm still going through the whole list. Yeah, I literally just did this yesterday.
All right.
So I'm going through the list, and I just started. Those were just LinkedIn messages that I just manual. I just copy and pasted, boom, boom, boom. While I'm adding them and dripping, while I'm waiting for Loxo to load it up, and then I have Apollo giving me the data. Boom, here we go.
So I got a question. I got a question for the group. Going back to the sequences, normally my sequences are short. because I'm like, if I don't get an answer, I'm not going to trail someone for a long period of time. BD is a little bit different. I might do 3 to 5 on BD, and I might not, maybe once a week drip. But I was just curious what the census is out there from the BD standpoint. Would you, like, a nice example, if you're working with somebody, do you just have a sequence that goes out every quarter or every month, just to check in, so it's kind of automated, from that standpoint? Or do you guys do more of a, I should say, more proactive, like, like look at a list of everybody you worked with, and every month you send a kind of a personal message to each one of them, kind of, you know what I'm saying? I say kind of because you're still going to automate that in the sequence. What's the census as far as from BD, how many steps or sequences you have?
Like for current clients or for potential new ones?
I'll just throw both. That would be, A would be current clients, question B would be for, potential clients.
Current, I'm always pick up the phone,
Yep.
pick it up, call them, pick up the phone, call them, and then just have, like, if you got their birthday, happy birthday, or send a card,
Yep.
Merry Christmas, happy whatever, and just send it out. The old school writing a card, you can still do that. You'd be surprised how many people appreciate that still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, campaigns on Canada, the average touch point to get into a new client is what, 8 to 15. I think that number just raised to like 20 something. So, but then what does it mean? It's like, okay, well, you can hit them with an email, LinkedIn message, call them, text. That's 4 right there, right? So just keep that going. I usually set 3 to 5 week cadences, and I'll target certain companies in this list. Like right now, I'm targeting reverse logistics. So I'll set up my company's ideal client profiles I want. And then I'll, who the decision makers, and then attack in a certain cadence. And then I always do, like, whenever I'm sitting on a computer at night or in the morning, first thing, I always do a BD right from LinkedIn, just straight messages. We have campaigns that are going in the background too, but I also have the ones that are going out at night. You'd be surprised how many clients I get at 9, 10 at night. Because they're all grinding, hustling, and especially in this industry, like what I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't shut off. They're all remote, so they can work their own hours. Most of them.
When we started doing a lot of cold outreach and cold email, again, we focused very heavily on, like I say, just near term, short 3 to 5 step sequences. One thing that we now do now is we build out sequences almost up to 12, 18 months. So we'll start with a short-term sequence, but we also build follow-ups every quarter, Happy New Year, into those sequences and leave those sequences on. I'm getting people come back to me month 9, month 10. In recruitment and staffing, it's reaching people at the right time and have a need. So I found having those regular intervals has definitely been helpful. We're getting people come back to us that are after 12 months in some instances.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm curious. What do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's right. I was just curious, Philip, if you're doing BD and it's not an existing client, so they don't know you, you don't know them. If you're doing outreach campaigns, I'm just curious, what is in your messaging? If you're not doing an NPC campaign, what are you doing in your messaging? Since you already built it out and you've got various stages and sequences, what are you doing as far as your messaging?
So over the years, we've built a variety of different types of messaging and different types. And I think a good mix of messaging is definitely helpful, not continuing to press upon the same point and be naggy. So at one point in our process, we had our top 100 interview questions attachment. So we're just adding a bit of value, giving them something that might help them. Are you, heading into the new year? Are you going to be hiring? Here's a list of top 100 interview questions that might be helpful to you. So just building different touch points in there that aren't always just your naggy pushing for business, but adding a bit of value and just keeping your name in front of them.
Good, thanks.
What are you going to say, Ernie?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just here listening away. It's very interesting when you have like those emails that you're sending to people to keep in contact. I think I think Tim is really going headstrong in that. And that's cool. That's the new method too that you have to do. But at the same time, once in a while, just pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, after you do a couple of that, just pick up the dang phone, and if you get them, just say, "Hey, I just wanted to hear your voice, man. Just wanted to say hi. I see you all over the place, and I just wanted to. You're somebody I need to know." And and then just say, all I gotta do is just want to connect. And but I was told one thing, and maybe this is something that I throw out to the group, that the branding people that I'm talking to, they said, you send out your messages, but when you send out your messages, never ask for work in your messages. To keep it separate. That's like sacred. Leave it alone. That's just talking to people, but don't hit them up for, hey, you got any placements or what? Because that's when they'll block you, and that's when they'll turn you off. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys?
100%. I know that for a fact, just because I recruit the top salespeople. They never start out. It's just getting them engaged, getting them on the phone is your only goal. Is get them to the phone.
Well, so 2 years ago, I worked internally, and I used to be director of service operations, and installs for a company. I used to get emails all the time from people, and they would say, "Hey, I have a candidate. I know you're looking for a technician, or I know this," and they would send an MPC, and I'm like sitting there going, "I don't even know who you are."
Right.
You're one of these franchise recruiting firms that are throwing stuff out. First of all, you're throwing a dollar amount that we will never pay, so you don't even know who you're talking to. So like. I had personal experience of not responding to them, and it would just delete. And maybe I should reply back and just say, "Hey, you know what? We're all good, thank you." And I probably should have done that, but it's a lot easier just to delete it in my inbox. Back then. Now I'm a little bit different, but anyways, that's all I had.
One of the other things too that it's kind of funny, if you've been doing this a while, is that every once in a while you should assume that you know the person you're talking to, or that you contacted them before, that they know who you are. Because many times I'll call somebody and I say, "Hey, this is Ernie Moreno." "Ernie, I know who you are, bro. How you doing?" And I go, "I have no idea who you are, but hey, I know you now." So you go along with the program. But that's part of what I can see what like Kelly's doing and getting your name out there. They'll know who you are. And may never talk to you, but they will know who you are.
Yeah.
And so that's when you break into your real personal talking to them, like you know them.
And how many of you guys have reached out to your previous placements? Do any of you guys do that?
Absolutely.
Consistently, and just getting your eyes and ears. That's a huge way into people overlook that all the time. I'm like, that's you already got that. You're always looking for a warm relationship, right? Well, it's already there. You place them in there that job. So
unless it was a bad experience.
yeah, you got to be careful. Hopefully you've been at the company before, but we just had a guy leave a company after 6 months. It's like, we can't control that,
Right.
They cut his comp, private equity came in. Of course it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But what else?
So
Dominic, you fighting a cold or something?
I got a new computer. I got all the new Mac stuff, so I'm just playing around with this, trying to figure out what
you're
works.
sniffling a lot, like you got a cold or something.
Oh no! I'm addicted to nose spray.
Oh God!
I can't breathe without it. So
At
like,
least,
I don't
at least that's what we're calling it,
Yeah.
All the worst part is
they put it in a bottle these days. I'm just
kidding. Like, why won't they tell you? Like, you should be able. This should be behind the counter.
I learned about that. My father was a pharmacist, and I remember I learned about that as a teenager, that stuff becomes addictive. And my stepmother got addicted to it. And I can never understand it because I hate this stuff. But they say once you start using it, you always need it.
Ever since COVID, can't stop. Wow. Can't breathe it. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I can't breathe.
There's worse addictions to have though. So
yeah, but I don't want to fry my nose out, so it's probably gonna happen.
All right, I want to refer to Tom's video. He did a video on AI. Remember that, Dominic? You did a video recently on AI. He said just embrace it,
Yeah.
And this is the next step. How many people are using AI, like messing around with it every day? I was just curious because I just pulled in a photo. It was like Steve Jobs' 7 successful tips. It was like it was on LinkedIn, and I just took this photo, dragged it in there, and just hit the submit, and it created a summary of what the heck the picture was. It was the coolest thing. It was like I just copied and pasted it. Never done it before, but I'm just saying there is some. it's pretty slick on the AI standpoint. So go ahead.
Check this out. I just put in the chat. That is the who's who in AI. So I go down rabbit holes in that group, like Andrew Ning, Fifi, all these people. I'll go through there and see what they're doing, and just start tracking. Okay, where are they heading with this? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? And then just
we don't see anything. I think you're going to share it.
No, I put it in the chat.
Oh,
you can look at that later because you can go down a rabbit hole real quick.
Your name's not on there. I mean, what's going on?
I got someone from U of T. That's where I'm from.
Is it?
Toronto, yeah.
It's just a good spot to start to go in there and poke around. And this guy's great too.
Let me ask you a question here. In the old days of LinkedIn, everybody was getting recommendations and things like that from people. And I noticed that not a lot of people are doing that anymore. Have you asked anybody for a recommendation on your work?
Yes, I started doing it again because I forgot about. I always forget about that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I gotta go back to all these people and start getting them. Well, I think it will help, and then you can use that on your social media, your website, whatever.
Mm-hmm. When do you think is the best time to ask for those recommendations are? Like I've done it as well. I have some on my LinkedIn profile, but yeah, do you think it's good like right when you place people, or do you think after they've been there for a little bit?
Hopefully right away. That way, in case they have a bad experience, it doesn't
happen. Yeah. Like if like they're on a high note, that's when you kind of want to get.
Yeah, you just got them a job. They're happy. Of course, I'll leave you a review or a recommendation.
Now here's another thought too. I saw somebody who said write it for them.
Yeah, right.
And then you send it, and then you just tell them, hey, could you just edit this, and here's most of the work, because I hate doing those kind of things, and it's a task.
So do I.
So it's like writing a letter recommendation for college or for somebody. Oh God, don't ask me. But
well, not even that. You got smart recruiters that be like, oh, let me go look at those recruiters. Who do they get recommendations from?
Yeah.
Tap in. Now that company uses recruiting firms. Let me tap in. I'm not gonna go to that guy. I'll tap into somebody else.
And then you go back to Tim's thing about the AI. You can get AI to write it, and whatever you write, you can write just some weird notes and comments, and they put this into a recommendation or an email and stuff, and it'll make it pretty better than you can ever write it. But if you're talking about AI, to also get in the habit of any email you have to respond to, pop it in AI and tell it to write a response, and then you just edit it from there. It's your personal secretary.
That's what you say, Zach?
Yeah, that's like the last couple of people that I've asked for. I basically just say that, and out of like 3 people I've asked, or 4, one didn't. For some reason, I'm not sure. But yeah, like I think if that wording just allows them to, you kind of just say, hey, it's for my business, it's helping me. Do you have any feedback? And then they write whatever they write.
Good idea. Next, I'm going to try to get this guy on just so you guys can see the data and the video, because I know people are still scared to do it. You have to do it. When I show you these numbers, you're going to be like, wow. And I told Zach this morning, that's my, we meet once a month accountability call. And I'm like, make sure that I have this done by next month. My goal is to at least do 3 a week, minimum. 60 seconds, no editing, forward up. There you go.
So if you thought you were accountable just with me, now you have 10 people on the call.
Yeah. So there you go.
Be doing those videos.
Well, not even that. When we get this WhatsApp group going, we'll all be in there and plugging away. All right. What do you want to hold me accountable for this month? Here you go. and we'll be all over it. Is Barry still in here?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up,
Barry, you
guys?
might as well show them what you showed me today. I didn't know this. Maybe some of you guys did.
All right, the map.
Yeah. Might have to share your screen. This is pretty cool on the Google Maps side. Have you any of you seen this yet?
I have issues with this all the time.
I could set up a if it doesn't work, just send me a loom, or I'll take a loom and just shoot it once I create this group.
Did that work?
Yeah. But you're on Canva. There you go.
So you just go to maps right here. Click on saved maps. And so yeah, you can just put any open jobs that you have, any candidates that you have on a map. To edit it, open in my maps. You can have different categories right here. And you can just search where you want. So Detroit. Add it to your map. It adds it.
And can you find other recruiting firms jobs that they post like that, or companies, or?
I'm sure you can find companies.
Just put like Robert Half.
H-A-F-F. What is it?
H-A-L-F. I think. Yeah. Does it show you their jobs?
You probably have to go to their website.
I'm gonna play around with this because I think there's a play there that I'll try to figure out here today. But I gotta jump, but you guys can stay on here. I gotta jump to a podcast. I'll see you guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, Dominic, thanks. Take care.
I'll let you guys take it from
Dominic.
here. Yeah.
Okay, Tom Rich, we're putting you in charge.
Yeah, you don't want me in charge. I'm just curious, Barry, with that map, what's the object of doing that? Maybe I misunderstood what you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, there's two things you could do with it. So you could send a link to people, and let's say you come across a candidate, you could send them a link to that map, and they could just go on the map, and they could search what jobs you have available. You could put that link anywhere. So if you want, and like if you want it on your LinkedIn, for example, people could click on it and see all your open jobs. And it's also just a way for you to kind of keep track of your candidates and your clients.
Okay, all right.
So Barry, have you looked into this with AI, the way it drives? I mean, you can create a list. I'm sure you can bring in a whole bunch of resumes or whatever, your contacts in a database, whatever, bring it in and you say, oh, these are all my candidates and these are the titles that they're currently in. Now I want to put I want to put their name and where they're located on a map. And that'd be really cool to have, like to see, because if you're niching down to something that's very niched, it'd be nice to see where everybody's at all over the United States, from that standpoint. I don't know if there's anything that you came across that does that, because you could do the geo fencing and stuff like that as well as some of those. Like if you have a job that you want to geo fence within 100 miles of that position, and how many candidates that's in my database would be really cool to be able to find. I know that ATS systems don't have that capability or functionality, but that would be really cool to kind of search to be able to do, like take a database of 5,000 candidates and throw them all over the map and find out exactly where your higher concentration of your candidates are. You know, I don't know if you ever looked into any of that.
I haven't. I honestly found this last night, like late last night, spent 5 minutes on it and showed it to Dominic today on a call earlier. I know that you can upload sheets and documents so that it can, you know, put them on a map for you basically.
Okay. Yeah, because I know tools like, I think Loxo or some of the others, you can actually export your contacts out of that. And if you export them out, you'd have their name and add, you know, the state or city and name,
Yes.
you know, that you can import into like a Google Doc and say, map all these people out. It might be kind of advantageous or kind of interesting anyways. I don't know how long.
This lets you upload, you can upload files, you can upload from Google Drive, you can upload albums.
Okay. I just never done it before, so thanks for sharing that. That's going to be...
Just go to Google Maps and then go to My Maps and you can create your own.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, now's your chance. You can be a star. Go for it, man. What are you going to talk about? You're not shy.
I don't know. My technology stack keeps growing and I want to try to simplify it. Help me, everyone. I just like, so I did put something in chat, if you guys saw, about Harry. He did a great like client onboarding. It was really cool. He automated that process. And it's definitely worth to listen to. It's only about a couple minutes long, but I mean, he walks you through every step of that process. Starting with ChatGPT and onboarding clients, and then he uses Slack to send it to his team of like what the requirements are from the client, you know. And I thought it was brilliant. So I reposted that one, but in general, just take a look at it. It's definitely worth your time.
You know, as you look at YouTube, there's been some videos now that I don't know, much more advanced than I, but it'll do everything for you. It'll go like, you go into create an Excel spreadsheet and do this and send it out and do all that. And it goes into your computer now, and it'll do it from your computer and set it up. But much more advanced than I can do. But these guys on YouTube will show you how to do it. So you hit something and it's like, it'll go from your Excel spreadsheet to your database to send it all out. And it's just like, whoa, shit, this is going to cost somebody some jobs.
Hey Buck, have you ever got into that automation yet, as far as that goes? I mean, I'm trying to get into it. I think I'm going to spend a whole week on CI for my company, you know, from that standpoint, and just try to figure out the simplest process to automate it utilizing specific tools. You know, obviously I'm embedded in Loxo right now, so how do I get that working with Loxo? But you know, Dripify, they brought that up earlier about you sending campaigns out of Dripify. I've never used Dripify before. I know I need to probably start using something other than Loxo, but what do you kind of do from the automation standpoint?
I mean, Dripify is awesome. I just started using it this week, and I've already got 52 new connections, something like that, in 4 days. I mean, that's unbelievable. I haven't seen that type of, and the they're not as good as like the response rates and acceptance rates or reply rates are not as good as Vive's getting, but like it's not bad. I mean, they have suggestions for you in there. I'm honestly not using a ton of automation at this point. Like whenever I tried to do automation, like messaging in like Apollo or set up those sequences, I just feel like it lacks a bit of human touch. So I always go in every single, like I do outreach every morning. Like I'm doing like probably 20 emails a day through Apollo, and every step is manual. I review everything before it goes out because like I don't want my domains to get fucked. I don't want like anything to get I just want to make sure that my outreach is landing in inboxes, and I'm tailoring each one a little bit here and there, making sure that what's going out is applicable to that individual prospect. Like right now with how spam filtering is operating, and like, you know, people are just getting inundated. I get inundated. You probably all get like a million emails or LinkedIn messages that are literally just all the same template format from.
Oh, it's horrible. Like they all want to outsource. Like right now, recruiting. I'm getting 5 messages a day. It seems like from some outsourced company overseas that wants to partner up, and I'm like, how do I delete this connection? I say no, I'm not interested, but I'm like, I don't even want to accept their connection. Because I'm like, I got 30,000 connections. Then that's all I'm done. I'm trying to be a little bit. It's interesting connections now. I'm really protecting myself on LinkedIn. Like,
Is
like
that
go ahead.
those are the connections you're talking about on LinkedIn? You pretty much block them. If you go to 3 dots when they send you a message, you can block them and then
delete them.
And well, you don't have to worry about deleting them. You just block them,
Okay.
and that'll stop that. But you're right.
It's kind of crazy. It was like I learned a long time ago. Like your email is kind of like your driver's license number, your email address. You want to kind of protect that sending it out. Because then you're going to get all the spam emails or how do you protect your. And I feel like LinkedIn's that same way. Like I had a guy that was connected with another recruiter that I know, and I was like, I highly respect this other recruiter. But then as soon as I hit okay, fine, I'll accept. All of a sudden, I get this note popping up, automated response, and they got this huge paragraph of how they can help me, and they don't even know anything about my business. So it's like to me, it's a big turn down, and that's why I think we're talking about the business development. Like, don't ask for business on the first introduction. Like anytime I send a message request about a position I'm looking for, I say, do you know someone? I don't ever say, hey, you have a great background with your experience. I think you'd be a great fit, da 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 da. No, I don't say that because 9 times out of 10, if they're interested in that role, they'll write me back and say, hey, I'm interested in learning more. And I didn't even ask them about that. I always say, do you know anybody? Always willing to help someone out if I can. And that response, it seems like you get more response from people or connection exceptions, which is great because that's what I want. I want them to say yes on those connections because they're in the industry, they fit a role that I'm sourcing for, and that's kind of the ultimate goal, right? Is to build your database in LinkedIn of people that are specific in your industry. And recruiters, I don't mind partnering up with recruiters, having a lot of recruiters in there. My concern is these these business development companies that are just crushing your LinkedIn profile every day. So Ernie, I'm going to definitely try to block them next time. I usually, once I delete it or I say I'm not interested, I usually don't get another response from them.
Yeah, no, but blocking them is a good way of doing that because there are a lot of those scam ones, but especially, but also that's another point of conversation you should have with if you ever get a chance to speak with a hiring manager. And just ask the question. Hey, look, you're talking to me. Let me ask you a question. You must get a ton of people trying to get a hold of you, and they'll say, yeah, I do. Why did you talk to me instead of the others? And it may be just, hey, you call me at the right time, and maybe because I know what you're talking about. And then ask them, what do you hate that recruiters send to you that'll force you to like get away from me? And to say that, and they will tell you, And then how do you know when a recruiter is good and when a recruiter is a rookie? And they will also tell you that because be having been on the other end in HR, you could tell when the rookies are there. And so you got to, even if you're a rookie, you got to figure out how to not sound like a rookie. So.
Does anybody use the LinkedIn Talent Insights, like the talent pool report? I'm looking because I'm trying to start this week. Actually, I've been meaning to do this for a while. Like LinkedIn Talent Insights will tell you, like if you punch in, like I do legal, so if I punch in an attorney in Austin, which is a market I focus on, it will tell you like the overview and location companies that are hiring and that are gaining and losing people. And right now, what I want to do is I want to go in and filter through the companies that have lost the most amount of people this year. Like I'm looking at these companies, they're down 33%, 25%, 20%, and then go in and ask the decision makers for hey, do you know somebody I'm hiring for this position in the market? Because maybe they're hemorrhaging people or they've lost people and they need help filling those positions, just don't have the jobs posted. Have you done that?
Well, a thought on that, you got, if you kind of look at it like they're losing people, right? Instead of asking for a referral, you may want to just number one, qualify yourself by saying, hey, look, I'm on top of this stuff. I notice you guys are losing all kinds of people. What about yourself? Are you looking? And they may tell you, yes, I am. What you got? And then you say, well, what's going on in your company? And then you find out. And then you could tell them, you know, what about, do you have any needs there? Because you got to always remember, it's kind of going on the concept that if I'm in a good company, or if I have a good team, I will look good. If this place is falling apart and I don't have any control over what's going on, then I need to get the heck out of here. And so, you know, just look and take care of you, man. You know, and make it very personal. And then they'll see you as being somebody different instead of calling them and say, hey, do you have any supervisors you need to fill up? Yeah, shit, we're not even making any money because we've just shut down 3 lines over here and we're doing this. And wow, you know, just asking what's going on with the company. I'm noticing you've lost 20% of your people. Anything happening that you know, and then they'll say this and that. And they say, what? Let's talk about you. Are you okay? Like, what do you mean? Well, I want to bring it up to you. I'm a recruiter and I'm always out there and looking for good people. I know you're good. What do you, would you be open to discussing any potential positions? And they'll go, yeah, okay. And then you do a phone screen right there. And
That's a great idea.
And then you just tell them, hey, tell me what else that you can be doing. And they'll go from there. But it's always personal. And that's how you get the best response. Take care
Buck, you mentioned Talent Insight. Are you referring, is that a space subscription?
Yeah, so if you have LinkedIn Recruiter, if you're on your regular LinkedIn profile, there's the little square with 9 dots that says for business. And then if you go to Talent Insights, you can, it's really cool. You can do a company report or a talent pool report and figure out like who's growing, what job titles are most in demand, where they're in demand, who's hiring, who's losing people.
Gotcha.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't have LinkedIn Recruiter, but I do have Sales Navigator. And Sales Navigator, I do look at growth insights. You know, if the company's growing over a period of time, what departments. Now, of course, it's all based on people's LinkedIn profiles. That's where they're getting the data from. And not everybody's on LinkedIn, but I will use that information to see if somebody that was promoted internally, and if that's a client that I'm going after, I will drop them into an outreach campaign I have congratulating them on their promotion. I don't say anything other than that. Congratulations on your promotion. If I can ever be of help in any way, please let me know. Happy to help. So I'll do that for promotions and the people that just joined the company. I have another outreach campaign that I use congratulating them on their new position, and it fills in all the, you know, position title, company name, all that. And I drop it into a campaign, and it's usually like a 3 or 4 stage campaign over a period of about 90 days. And in the second or third stage, I have in there something about it's been 60 days since you've been in your new role. How's it going? Is you thought what it was going to be? Have you identified any gaps on your team? Or weak links, those kind of things. So I'll put that into the outreach campaign. I can't say it's generated any business yet, but I do get people responding saying, you know, thanks, you know, thanks for, you know, thinking of me and blah, blah, blah. And then they connect with me. So that's not a bad thing.
Hey, Tom, I never really looked at the growth insights. That's pretty cool. I have Sales Navigator. So
I look at it all the time. Like I said, I do a little map in there of the people in the departments. You can drag them into a map, so you got like an org chart.
Okay.
I do that pretty religiously, so I have an idea of who's reporting to who, and reaching out to people. And then when they leave and go to another job, go to another company, I'll do the same kind of thing. I'll drop them into an outreach campaign if I don't already know them. Okay. Yeah. And if it's somebody that my company's done business with, and they may not know me, they're going to a new organization, I'll say, oh, congratulations on your new position. I see that you worked at ABC previously. Not sure if you're aware of it, but they were a major client of ours. We filled numerous positions. Here's our specialties. Should you ever have a need, please contact me. Now, I mean, I don't do that in the first email message.
Yeah.
I congratulate them, but that may be in the third or fourth stage in the sequence of the campaign.
Okay. Yeah, which makes sense because at least they'll see other emails coming from you or messages. So there, it's kind of warmer. It's not like the first.
Yeah, and when people start a new job, they're just learning the lay of the land. They're learning who the people are, what the processes are. So you give them a little bit of time, and it may be a month to 6 weeks before they get a chance to really sit down with their team and know what if I inherited good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I mean? From a skills perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Now, Tom, we talked a little about automation. Are you using any of these automation tools? I know you've been on a lot of them. Clay, Make,
I played around with it, but no. The only thing I'm doing is within Loxo, or I've used previously I've used Octopus CRM.
Octopus CRM,
which I like to use to scrape. And then Octopus CRM is pretty inexpensive. It's like $25, and you can have it set to go out and view a profile. Somebody you're not connected with, and view a profile today. 2 days from now or 3 days from now, set up a sequence so it goes in and sends up a connection request. And then a follow-up within like 30 days, depending on how aggressive you want to be. So there's some automation to it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can also go on there and like posts and stuff that you see. And then more recently, I've been using another product. I've been using Jobin Cloud.
Yeah, I was going to say Jobin. Yeah.
The pro version. I don't use it as an ATS. I don't post jobs on it or anything like that. But I've been using it more for X-ray searching through Jobin.
Okay. And they, have you utilized, and I haven't done any sequencing out of there yet, but I did love the fact that I was able to get rid of all my pending. I had 650 pending.
Now, I just tried that because Tom Alassio mentioned it the other day.
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to do that. Now, I don't have a paid account anymore with Jobin.
Go in and did you get a trial version?
Oh, I still have the free version. I've been on the free. I was on the free version for about 5 months, and then I went to paid. And then about 3 months ago, I stopped doing the paid. So I still have the free version, but it does not allow me to remove
the pending.
Yeah, the pending ones, unless I'm doing something wrong. But I'll get when I see Tom or talk to him tomorrow. I'll find out. He might have a paid version of Jobin, and I think he does.
So I ended up doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
I just heard the other day I was doing my Dripify learning on YouTube, and their official YouTube account said that YouTube will shadow ban you if you got over 500 requests pending.
I had 650, but I did use, I've had 650 for like probably 3 or 4 weeks. So anyways, I was freaking out about that. So that I was telling Ernie, I'm like, I got to get this figured out. He's like, get Jobin. So I did a trial of Jobin, and then I filled they said, do you want to do a recommendation? I got like a 2-week trial now. And Tom, I ended up getting the professional for like a 2-week trial. So that actually was included in that. So I ended up getting rid of all mine. It took me 650, took me probably 2 or 3 hours.
Pro is pretty good. I have not. One of the things they recommend is take like all your LinkedIn first level connections and dump them in the Jobin Cloud, and then do a data refresh so you can get fresh information. You can do the same thing, like you can dump your Loxo CRM contacts in there and do a data update, data refresh, but I'm not going to do that.
Well, the problem is, this is my situation. I think with Loxo, and I don't know if this would help out or not, but like, let's say you don't have the right information, phone numbers or whatever, and you dump it, you take your database in Loxo, throw it in there, and then you upload it, and then you enrich it all, right? and it's great. Me, I only have about 4,000 in there right now. So let's say I did that. Now all of a sudden, my challenge is now I got to put it back into Loxo. And like, if I put it back into Loxo, am I going to lose all that information, or is it not even going to upload correctly?
I think you're probably going to end up getting duplicate records. I could be wrong. I've never tried it that way.
Yeah, and that's where I need to, because Loxo's a big, they believe in their now credits on their enriching, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, I get it, but there's other sources out there that do it better.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Buck, you mentioned you've been using Dripify recently. Do you have a paid version, or are you doing it on a trial?
My trial actually expires today, so I'm gonna end up doing the paid version. I just feel like the results I've seen are great so far, and I feel like it's still a work in progress. Like you can't edit, or at least I haven't figured out how to edit the campaign or the sequence once you activate it. Maybe that happens. You can do that when you upgrade, but yeah, I mean, I think this is like the best LinkedIn automation tool that I've used. And I've used Octopus and Linked Helper, and then Walaxy is another one I tried, and this is by far the best one.
Does your CRM ATS don't have the ability to do outreach campaigns?
I haven't picked, like, I'm using Top Echelon right now. It's using Recruit Flow, which I hated, and then I want to use Top Echelon because it's got the recruiter network in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But you need to have 2 client referrals or references rather, and I have not made 2 placements with clients at my company yet. I just have the ones from my previous job. So,
Buck, use my name. Use my name.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Tell him
I'll
Ernie.
do that.
Just tell him Ernie referred me, and
okay.
I've been with him for like 20 years. They know who I am.
Oh wow.
And plus, I'm also considered now a ambassador or whatever they want to call it.
He's the OG. He's the original big biller.
And royalty.
And somebody, I think it was one of the young ladies that was on this program. I was told that she got on, and she said that's the fastest we've ever gotten anybody on. And they'll ask me for a reference, and I'll just tell them I know you. We made some placements and put you on.
Okay, great.
But it's knowing all this stuff is about who you know.
Yeah.
And but also when you go into your Dripify and all this other stuff, look at JobIn. They have videos.
Yeah.
And the JobIn videos are like the stuff it can do. It's like incredible.
I got to run, gentlemen.
Yeah.
See you.
You know that the stuff it can do is pretty heavy duty. It'll get stuff done. I've looked at JobIn, and I'm going to run it along with Big Biller, because I'm also in Big Biller. It's called a Big Biller because it should be the TE Recruit.
Mm-hmm.
But you can use that, and it'll give you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this looks crazy. It's good. LinkedIn automation, ATS, Contact Finder, People Finder, Chat. It's
it's
too expensive.
No, it's not. It's not expensive, and you can take it in sections. But also look at the bottom of that. If you look at the cost, it's make sure it says US dollars.
Yes.
And then if you hit the at the top of the column, it'll give you a bundle price, and you can do it month to month. But sign up for it for free, see what it can do. But I've done.
Yeah.
I told Tim about, like, he wanted to clean out his people, that he'd send pending list to. It does that. It also does. I think you and I are the only ones on here now. I don't know if there's anybody else on here.
Looks like it.
But why don't you get let's connect offline, and I can show you what it can do. It's kind of weird. But
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. I really appreciate the referral too. I mean, I can use all the help I can get. Honestly, I was in manufacturing before, and the company I was with was so they put the fear of God in me about legal action. So I switched to legal services, and I'm having just it's a different beast for sure. And I did really well in manufacturing, and I'm not having a hard time with this legal stuff. So
yeah,
this is really appreciated.
but just these guys are pretty good in it. And how do we connect? Let's see. Here, I'm gonna. What's your email? Maybe we'll do a Wednesday.
Let me do. I'll just put it in the chat here.
I'm gonna send you a link. We'll get offline here, and then I'll send you a link, and then we can do a meet. But
Perfect.
I'll do that right now. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.